In today's video, we are going to be doing something pretty cool. I'm going to be making a mold and then a cast of some small horns. This skull is from a common diker that I took in Africa in 2019. And I'd really like to keep the skull for display and keep these horns on here, but I also want to mount this little guy. I have the hide from him tanned as well. So I thought, why not make a reproduction of the horns so that I can have them on the mount and also on the skull. They've already been cleaned off inside. This is really cool how they just slip right off the sheaths. Most animals with horns do this. Some will not come off, but in the case of this little guy, these come right off, which is going to make it super easy to make a mold of these. They're hollow inside. Very, very easy to do. I'm going to be using Smooth On products. We're going to use this Mold Star Platinum Silicone for the mold. This is easy to use. It is a 1-to-1 ratio mix. There's 2 bottles of product in here, and this is going to give us a fast rubber mold of these horns. And after that, we will be casting it in Smooth Cast 325 liquid plastic, which I also have some black pigment that will go in it and help us give a nice base coat for this. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a simple horn replica, and this can be done on a bigger scale with larger horns as well. I tried to think about the best way I was going to suspend these inside this cup. It is just about the perfect depth. I don't mind if my mold material comes shy of just a fraction of an inch. I'll rebuild these bases. I just really don't want the silicone to go down into the horn. So this looks like this is going to be just about a perfect depth. Obviously, I don't want it to touch the bottom. We want to get some silicone rubber underneath the horn here. I'm going to take just a little bit of clay and go ahead and plug these bases so there's no chance that any rubber is going to get up in there. Then I can take this rubber. All right, you can see that I filled those with the clay, and that's going to keep any rubber from going down inside there. The best way I came up with suspending these over the cup was to pipe some hot glue in a circle onto this tape and set the horns up on this. Give that a minute to set up. I'll be able to just pull this hot glue off later. This is going to hold them suspended over the cup. I will do it for the other one. Here we go. Let's let that dry a minute. All right, let's see how this works. Seems to be holding well. And I will just suspend that right over the center of the cup. They're going to hang straight down into the cup. And now we will pour our rubber in. All right, and here we go. This is the Mold Star 16 Fast, which has a pot life of 6 minutes, meaning we're going to have a maximum of 6 minutes to mess around with this. And then its cure time is 30 minutes. 30 minutes to be able to demold this. The instructions state to mix thoroughly before getting started. So I'm going to mix each side really well. Now a solo cup holds about 16 ounces. Obviously we want a nearly full solo cup for this. Kind of makes the measuring easy. If I have a full cup, I can pour it into here. There's going to be some displacement from the horns, but 16 ounces should give us very close to what we need. So I'm going to use 8 ounces of this and 8 ounces of that. I'm watching my very dirty scale to make sure I don't go over. .1, close enough. Put in 8.1 of this. And now we have to mix this, obviously, very thoroughly. Remember, we have about 6 minutes to work with this. All right, we're ready to pour this in. And I'm going to come up high with my cup. This helps to have less air bubbles in your mold the higher you go with your pour. I'm just going to slowly drizzle that down into the cup. As we get closer to the top, I just want to make sure it goes fairly close up around those horn bases, but we don't want to have it spill over the top. And this should be just enough. I'm going to scrape a little bit out of here. Why you guys gotta be barking in my video? So that is what I was going for. I pretty much got it right up to the tape. Maybe just a tiny bit of the horn still showing, but it is full. And we're going to let this sit for at least 30 minutes until it's hardened rubber and we can take it out of the cup and pull these horns out. All right, this has been about 30 minutes and we are ready to demold. It is now rubber. I can kind of test it by this was from the bottom of the other cup, so I'm able to tell that this is good and hardened up before I go pulling this out. But let's take our tape off. I'll go ahead and pull this off. There they are in there. You know what? Let's cut this cup off first so I can kind of have some flexibility to the mold. That looks good on the bottom there. So these will just pop right out. Squeeze this a little bit. And let's see. I'm going to use some pliers to get these started. Could give a gentle twist. And out we go. Cool, huh? Silicone doesn't really stick to anything but itself, so these come out pretty easy. This one is a little tight. And there is our mold. All right, who's excited? It's time to make our cast. I've got the Smooth Cast 325 here, both part A and B. A mold release that we're going to spray inside here. And this is a little bit messy, so you can't see the label, but this is called So Strong, and this is a black casting material pigmentation, which is going to give us kind of a darker color. We're still going to have to paint the horns a little bit after, but this will give us a nice base color. So let's start with our Smooth On mold release. And I'm just going to spray a little bit of that down in the mold. Not a whole lot, but that's going to help this to release. And now we're going to mix 50-50 on these things. We will not need nearly as much as we did for the mold, that's for sure. Let's see. Okay. We've got both of these poured, and now let's put some of this black color in. It does not take a whole lot. Now we will mix this well. We only have about 2 minutes working time on this. And this mixes to a nice black color. Move some things out of the way. All right, it's already starting to get warm, so let's go ahead and pour. I'm going to pour them. Oops. All right. Let's not pour it that high. Wipe off that excess. Got a little too excited there. All right, that's better. It's okay if a little bit gets on the edge, but we're going to take this wire and gently go up and down. There's a high propensity for there to be an air bubble right in the tip of that horn, since it's so narrow at the end. So this is going to help to get the material all the way down into that tip. You can see how this level went down when I did that, probably because there was a big air bubble down there at the bottom. There. Or a little bit more. I mixed up way too much, but that is better than not enough. It's starting to get really warm. I'll tap the mold a little bit. This is also going to help bring the air bubbles to the top. Now, let's see. I'm going to take this same wire while I'm waiting for that to gel just a little bit. bend these ends like the hook. I want to have something to help me pull these out of the mold and to also like set it into the artificial skull when I go to mount these. So before this completely sets up, I'm going to set these down into the plastic. And really the best plan at this point is for me to just hold them here in place. All right, who's ready for the big reveal? I gave this a good 30 or 40 minutes to set up because even though the thicker parts harden up pretty quickly, we got to remember those tips down in there, the very small, thin areas, they do not set up nearly as quickly. And they'll tend to be kind of mushy and flexible, and you can just destroy it if you demold too soon. So I'm going to start wiggling this out of here. And these wires help a lot with this. This would be quite tricky if I didn't have the wires in here. I'm kind of moving it side to side to break the seal. And once we do that, it should just pop right out. All right, here we go. Look at that. That is pretty accurate right there. Let me find which one it matches. Yeah. Looks just like it with a little bit of, honestly, I don't think I need to paint it much at all, with a little bit of dust on here to kind of tone down the shininess. This is going to be a perfect replica of this original. Let's take the other one out. Make sure the tip is good. That's the only thing that can mess up, is if you get air bubbles in these tips. They will it'll just come out without the tip, which you could fix that with some black epoxy, but I'd rather not. I want to see it come out good. Oh yeah. There we have a perfect set of diker horns. And using these wires, I will set them into some Bondo. I'll take measurements for getting these the proper distance apart, set it into Bondo, and just make a fake skull cap for it. And then this can go right on the mount, and you'll never know the difference. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more taxidermy tips, please follow my YouTube channel at Amy's Taxidermy and on Facebook at Amy's Animal Art.